Blue
Hello.
M&M, red M&M, they all come out the same colour in the same.
Do you say they come out the same colour in the sea? If so, why are you putting your M&Ms in the ocean? Oh no, that's not what you're talking about at all, was it? Oh no. Hello everyone, welcome back to Thomas Podcast here today. I'm joined with John, Owen, as always, and we have a special guest for this Doctor Who monthly review with Mr. Elijah Crayling, who is on the plains of Skaro. Meanwhile, John is nicely tucked in with in the Dodgem game with the Doctor, and Owen's just at home, as
That's
am
the
I.
Doctor, is it?
With Elvis.
I thought that was somebody else.
Who knows? It's definitely not me. No, I got the star. I got the star for that, mate. But yes, how are we all doing? Are we good? Are we lively?
Excellent.
I'm a little embarrassed because me and you have come on with the same shirt, Alex. And,
yeah.
you know, if we were on a night out or something, one of us would have to go and change.
It's a
little embarrassing.
Yes.
You know, this is the jeopardy of recording after we were due to record.
I mean, to be honest, can you imagine going to a football match and everyone wearing the same fucking shirt?
You're like, all right, one of you's got to change.
What are the chances?
Owen, where's your West Ham kit?
That's in the wash. He was wearing it on Sunday.
Yeah.
And it was very hot and sweaty, and he probably got hair down it.
Nice, there we go. Elijah, where's your West Ham kit?
I'm wearing it right now.
Shooty Gatwa is signed for West Ham.
Fucking Shooty Gatwa.
Yes, it's the 14th.
Although I do have a Dalek themed T-shirt on. So
yeah. So Owen and I are representing who, while you are representing West Ham.
That ludicrous display.
Ludicrous display.
Yes, a 3-1 win as well. So it's a positive time to wear the West Ham kit
against Viborg of Denmark, or Viborg.
Exactly. But we're here to talk about a lot of Doctor Who things. We were meant to record this last week, but things got in the way. But it was lucky because there's so much stuff two big things that have come out in the recent days that we actually get to discuss this week. Should we do box set first and then the rumours?
Yeah, go for it. I mean, I like that Alex said things got in the way, whereas what essentially happened is me and Owen went and got drunk.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. To be fair, I will always accept getting drunk over recording the podcast. Yeah, it's always a valid reason.
You wouldn't have wanted this on here the state we were in on Sunday night.
I don't know. I think just recording it, putting it on the channel anyway would have been a fun one.
Our poor Uber driver was all the way back east from Hammersmith. Our poor Uber driver was serenaded with Bond theme tunes.
Please tell me you did the Living Daylights.
No, we did them all.
The Living Daylights. But yes, I think it was announced, was it Monday or Tuesday? We're getting another collection set from the wonderful classic series, and it was announced it's going to be series 2 or season 2.
Season 2.
Okay, if you, I don't want the Twitterverse to come after me. I think to me they're the same word.
I can genuinely say nobody wants a series 2 collection box set.
No. Yeah, with exclusive.
Can I get a worst series of New Who? I think I possibly can.
Actually, you could get a series 9 collection set, but yeah, sorry. Hey.
Big difference is, Alex, series 9 divides opinion, as we'll find out on this podcast. Series 2 generally doesn't.
No, series 2 is just a bit pants. But season 2, on the other hand, is going to be the biggest set that we've had yet. 9 discs, the most episodes. I can't remember the specific episode count. 37 episodes. 37. So a lot of episodes, 2 of which will be recreated with telesnaps to the cries of Twitter.
Top of the 37.
Or is it?
Oh, that's a good question. Is it now? Does 30? Ooh. I'm going to sit and work it out now. Carry on.
As John's doing that, guys, obviously this time the price up to 50 quid. I think the set looks pretty damn cool. And I think it's exciting to get some 60s Who love in the collection sets.
Finally.
It's absolutely amazing. Hartnell, all-time favorite Doctor. So it's great to finally get, finally being able to get one of his sets on Blu-ray. We're getting a rescan of the 2 episodes of The Crusade, which originally didn't look so great. So they're going to be cleaned up, looking great. I'm excited.
I think it's just an exciting time to get on, to have a set like this. And, I think the amount of work that goes into these sets is pretty damn cool. I mean, we found out the other day that the William Russell interview was actually filmed 4 years ago. So it shows how early they were even getting the.
I didn't even know that.
It was like 2018 they recorded it, I think.
Yeah, getting the prepping for these sets. So it's exciting to see. Obviously, a bit more on the pricier side this time around, but I ain't complaining.
I've done it in my head, but I've had 2 beers. But I think that the 37 would include the reconstructions.
Cool. But yeah, 50 quid this time, a bit more pricey, but I think it's worth it.
Oh, definitely worth it.
Right, okay. I was saying this to somebody the other day, right? Yeah, it's a tenner more, right? But it's a tenner more for 37 episodes. The most episodes they've released in a box set before was 28 when they did season 18, which was 40 quid. So £10 more for 9 more episodes. You're getting more bang for your bucks.
Plus, you got all that bonus content as well.
Yeah, you're getting more bang for your bucks. I said to somebody the other day, I would pay a tenner more just for that William Russell interview.
And I don't know if anyone noticed when Richard Bignall put out the PDF list, we're actually getting the telesnaps on that list for episodes that do exist from John Kira's collection, which is actually kind of cool because
nice.
They're ones that not many people have seen of surviving stories that he also took, and they are 4K scans, so highest quality.
Are they doing what they do with some of the animations where they're including the audio files of the audio releases that have come out?
That's a good question. That I don't know.
Okay. Obviously, we've sort of, with stuff like the Crusade, it would only really be the Crusades in this case, I guess. They've released them with linking narration, etc. in the past.
Yeah, I would assume so, just to kind of, fill up the disc more, which would kind of make sense. But yeah, that would be interesting.
I know they've done it with the animations and stuff, so it could be some good, decent radio content on there as well.
Oh, yeah. Do we have a release date or an idea of when we think this is going to be out?
There's no release date as yet. No. November seems likely because if they're going to do a screening at the BFI, which they've said they're going to do, that probably won't be before late October because you've got the London Film Fair running until the 16th of October.
Got it.
So November seems likely, although there is a little bit of a wishful thinker in me that's kind of saying, they could get that out in October and then give us another set just before Christmas.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, I'm not complaining. Obviously as well, season 2 is the only season in which we have already reviewed a Hartnell story with the Time Meddler. We did that. I think it's one of the first ones actually back in June last year. So
we did that in June last year.
It was good fun.
Put black and white filters on our videos.
We did. That was something I did. Like I said, one of the Hartnell stories actually enjoyed the Time Meddler, so it's going to be exciting to
It's a really good season. It's a really solid season, actually. I think the only ones that for me on there are maybe a little subpar are the Space Museum and possibly Planet of Giants. Ooh, I think those are the only 2 that I would say don't hit at least a kind of 8 out of 10 in terms of quality. The rest are just great.
John, I thought you were going to diss the Web Planet. Then I thought we were going to have some beef there. I absolutely love the Web Planet, and I'm so excited to have it in Blu-ray.
The Web Planet was actually my first Hartnell story.
I've never seen the Web Planet, so there we go.
I'll be honest, I might have kind of forgotten it existed.
Alex, you haven't seen the giant ant run into the camera.
I've not seen a lot of Hartnell stories, mainly because the ones I've seen, I don't really enjoy a lot of them. I mean, and I did forget that when I said that his favorite Doctor is Hartnell. I forget how contrasting our Doctor opinions are, because you're not a big Matt Smith fan, are you either? So like,
Oh, I enjoy Smith.
I thought, was it you that put in someone in our chat, put him quite near the bottom of like a Doctor ranking? But if it's not you, I'm sorry, I apologize. But yeah, no, Hartnell for me. Yeah, I'm excited for the set. Least favorite Doctor of what I've seen so far. Maybe the episodes can change my mind. I know it's a controversial opinion, but if you had to ask me which Doctor of catalogue would you not want to watch, William Hartnell would be the one I'd choose.
How many Hartnells have you seen?
Earthly Child, Edge of Destruction, Aztecs, 10th Planet, Time, the Gunfighters, Time Meddler. I feel like I've seen more. War Machines. There's maybe a few more, but the only ones that stick out to me that I actually enjoyed was the Time Meddler and the War Machines, and the Aztecs is fun as well.
I mean, Dalek Invasion of Earth is an absolute must, so I'd recommend watching Dalek Invasion of Earth. You might have seen the Cushing film, but the serialization is different.
Cool.
In terms of other good Hartnells, I'm a really big fan of Keys of Marinus, and there are actually some really good stories on this set as well. So stuff like the Rescue and the Romans and the Chase are incredibly good.
I didn't even think about that. We will be getting the Beatles clip on Blu-ray now.
Yeah.
Our favorite dance move, Ian, with the music box.
This season does also contain 2 instances in consecutive stories of characters that are supposedly paralyzed or unable to walk and then stand up.
Ah.
Just you wait, guys. Just you wait. My day will come.
You've got Dortmund in Invasion of Earth, then you've got Bennett in The Rescue. Sorry, that's a bit of a spoiler for The Rescue, probably. But
I'm not going to. Our friendship's over. You spoiled The Rescue. Cancel the podcast. We're done. No, we're done it.
The only story I haven't seen.
It's impossible to spoil The Rescue.
No,
it's fabulous.
Yeah.
The only story I haven't seen in that series is the Romans.
It's hilarious. It's brilliant.
I've heard good things. Because when I'd seen what was it? The Rescue. This was probably about a year and a half ago. It then went into the Romans, and then I was just so tired. I just zonked out, and then woke up about halfway through, and I just switched off. And I thought I'll watch it another time, and I still haven't got around to watching it yet.
I'm one of the probably majority of people actually who prefers Vicky to Susan. So getting season 2 is great for me.
I personally prefer anyone to Susan. There's only 2 companions I have a heavy disdain.
Alex, I love Courtney Wood's Kingdom.
No. Let's not count Courtney Woods here. But if you're talking about impossible,
technically, it appears in more than one story. Travels in the TARDIS.
Okay, fine. I'm not okay. Right, Courtney Woods says there's only 3 companions I have heavily distasteful. That's Mel, Susan, and Courtney Woods. There you go.
Was that Mel?
Mel, yes, I know it's like controversial, but just I'm a big,
I mean, I might actually wait until you're in the same room to tell Beef that you've said that.
Yeah, I know. It's unpopular. I don't think that she does anything in her stories. I feel like they keep inviting new characters in for them to do all the stuff that she should be doing. Like in Down at the Banner, for example, where Ray just pops up and does a lot of shit that perhaps Mel could have been doing whilst Mel's just kind of doing nothing.
That's because Ray was a potential replacement.
And then in Dragonfire, you get Ace that comes in and does most of the heavy lifting Ace is the replacement.
The reason they do that in those 2 stories is because they were both potential replacements and they hadn't decided which one to go with. Because Bonnie was only on a year's contract.
But yeah, I do really like Bonnie though. In every interview I've seen her, she seems like a lovely person. But Mel as a character, just nothing. Sorry. I know. I'd rather have Ryan Sinclair, and that's saying a lot.
Don't you dare.
I know. John's like livid. Anyway, so speaking of companions, let's move on to something that will make John smile. This is all rumor and speculation, and people putting 2 and 2 together and potentially making 4, but could be making 5.2. So it was announced that Rose Ayling Ellis was leaving EastEnders come closer to the end of the year. And it also was discovered that she was following a certain Rusty Davis and a certain Shooty Gatwa on Twitter. Now, people have put this together and gone, it's coming up to the time where Doctor Who could be starting filming. There's a few links here.
People forgetting one more. Casting director Andy Pryor.
Yeah, following Andy Pryor as well, who in a recent issue of DWM is on record as saying that they're going to be using more disabled actors.
No, exactly. So it's an interesting decision. I think people are very excited. I'm very excited. I think it's a very good choice. It's one that I think would benefit the show, and I think go for it. But is that the general consensus here as well, that it's all thumbs up? Let's do it.
It's interesting that you mention it straight after talking about Ryan Sinclair, because obviously that was a case where we had a supposedly disabled companion when they could be bothered to remember it and use it as a plot point, played by a non-disabled actor. That was something that never sat right with me. It never sat right with a lot of people. To actually, Owen and Alex have both disappeared off screen at the moment. Like, oh god, he's on his soapbox. You disappeared off to the side of your screen. Oh god, he's on his soapbox. We've got 5 minutes. We'll go and do the washing up. So it is crucially important that disabled people are given disabled roles. Rose Ayling Ellis is a fantastic actress. She's a wonderful disabled advocate. Would be an absolute credit to the show. And this just if this is true, it just makes me love Russell T Davies and look forward to series 14 even more, because this is actually the kind of representation we need. Because let's not forget, one of the specials is being directed by somebody who is disabled at the moment. They were recovering from spinal surgery when they were directing the special. So we're seeing.
Who was it?
I can't remember how to pronounce the name.
I'm gonna find the name.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I know. Button is your surname, I think. But
Chanya
Button.
Yep.
And to have that disability representation behind the scenes, to have actual disabled creatives working on a show rather than abled people writing disabled characters, abled people playing disabled characters, it's the kind of step up that we need. You wouldn't see it anywhere else. You wouldn't have a white actor playing a black character these days. You wouldn't have a non-trans actor playing a trans character these days. There is absolutely no reason why you would have an abled actor playing a disabled character.
Right.
And so I just looked at my Twitter feed this afternoon when all of this was working itself out, and the rumor was kind of doing the rounds, and the number of people that I saw who are genuinely excited for this and genuinely want this to happen so much, because of what it means for disability representation, is fantastic. It's phenomenal.
Very much so.
So I will be a very happy man if this actually proves to be the case, because again, Russell showing everybody else how to do it properly.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think, like you said, it's a positive step for the business. I think we need to talk about it from that stance as well. it's a positive step for disabled people and representation. I think the one thing that we can already see with RTD2 is there is change. You know, there is an element of, right, we need to kind of, you know, make sure people are included here, feel included. And you know, I hate it's not, you know, it doesn't feel like it's box ticking, which I'd hate that term anyway, I never agree with, but it just feels really positive. Like every kind of decision made so far feels really positive, and it feels like every time something's announced, everyone goes, "Oh, that's really cool," and not, "Oh."
I mean, the thing is that some things do come across as box ticking, and the way that things come across as box ticking is if you have an idea and then you don't actually follow it through properly. So, for example, if you have a disabled character and you don't hire a disabled actor, that's not you believing in disabled people. That's not you believing in disabled representation. It's you doing it for a headline.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is my definition of box ticking.
But it's what let's talk about it in the show's context. This could set up a three person team. Because there are also rumors of Yasmin sticking on and staying around.
Possible. Yeah, it's possible. I don't know if there's any kind of confirmation that Yasmin Finnery's around for more than the 60th.
Right.
It is possible. I mean, personally, I wouldn't mind a 3-person TARDIS team. I think that it's been shown in the past that a 4-person TARDIS team doesn't give you enough time to develop characters. I do feel that if you're introducing a new Doctor and new companions, then almost doing the kind of 2.5 approach like they did with Series 5 when Rory was there at times and then wasn't, works best because it gives you the time to kind of develop everybody and develop everybody's character.
Exactly. And I think it works well. I think if it is the case, I think Russell will know what to do. I would like to go out to a 1-on-1. I think just because we've had 4, then 3, I would like to go out to 2 for a little bit. And like you say, John, just develop characters and kind of make us care about companions again. Because I think the biggest I've enjoyed kind of our current, you know, Mandip and John Bishop, but the reason I like, you know, Dan as a character is because he's John Bishop, and I just go, oh, isn't John Bishop quite a funny bloke? It's not really because I care much about Dan. Like, Dan seems like a samurai lad who looks after people. It's like he's a nice guy, but we don't know much about him, you know. Whereas it would actually be nice to care about them on a character front, and not just because they're a really cool actor. Same kind of with Bradley Walsh, although Graham was a good character. But yes, so this week, guys, we are reviewing the Series 9 opening 2-parter, Magician's Apprentice, which is familiar. There's too much for us to kind of go into John breaking it down for us. There's a lot going on in this one. It's like a 90-minute epic. I think we just need to unpack it and go into opinions on this one, guys, because a lot happens very quickly. And, you know, obviously it's kind of the end of, I suppose, last Christmas, but more really the end of Series 8 than more than anything, to be honest. Obviously, at this point, Missy would have been introduced, Clara would have been sticking on, and Daddy Pink has, you know, fortunately been killed.
Sorry, I when that van hit, I celebrated.
In what I considered at the time a 6-episode low for Doctor Who, with the abhorrent In the Forest of the Shite, Dark Water, Death and Heaven being the worst finale in the show's history at the time, Last Christmas being dog turd, and then this. But what do I think of this now?
Sorry, I'm going to have to agree with Alex on that one. I didn't like that Christmas special.
No,
it didn't feel like a Christmas special to me.
It's terrible.
I enjoyed it.
Despite having Santa in it, it didn't feel
and Nick Frost is the best thing about it, and he's not in it very much.
Santa are legitimately scary aliens.
No, not that scary.
You've not seen Alien.
I have. That is actually a film that I have seen.
Have you?
I've seen Alien, yeah. I've not seen Aliens.
Mr. I'm terrified of jump scares. Mr.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Mr. I've not seen hardly any well-known films. You've seen Alien.
Yeah, I went through a few pairs of pants that day, but I got through it. A good film.
You've named the movie Alien. No wonder why your planet always gets invaded.
Yeah. But this brings on to this. I suppose the things to really say at the minute, the Doctor is missing and Clara is teaching in a school, and Missy is supposedly MIA and just kind of wandering the universe. That's kind of what you need to know. Right. I'll go last on this one. We'll go to Elijah first. Obviously, this is the reason you're here. You're a big Capaldi fan.
I am.
And I'm led to believe that you really enjoy this one.
What the time when it aired, I was so excited. We're getting like just piecing it together by the trailer. Kind of figured out, oh, we're gonna get a Davros origin story in a sense, but it wasn't even more of an origin story. It was more of just like harking back to the, do I have that right? The Doctor's having his midlife crisis, and what does he do? He rides in on a fucking tank, playing a guitar. How awesome is that? And having the new costume. I love the holy jumper with the check trousers. I think that is like the best outfit next to the red velvet outfit for Capaldi. You have Missy coming back, wonderful as ever, with her cheap and nasty time travel and her pointy stick. Don't forget her pointy stick. And we have the return of Davros, which I thought at the time was like amazing because, you know, hadn't seen Davros since series 4. And overall, I just enjoy this two-parter so much. We'll get into it more, but that's just opening thoughts.
What about you, Mr. Owen?
I've always loved a Davros story, so I kind of knew that Davros was coming back like months and months in advance of the story airing. It was only because my boss found out and kind of sort of like slipped up and was like, "You didn't hear anything." I was like, "Oh, okay." But she did the same thing to me back in 2007, 2008 when he came back in the new series, like series 4. So when we were sort of like getting teasers that the Daleks were coming back, I think by that time I'd forgotten that Davros was coming back. And then at the beginning, you see that kid goes, "My name is Davros," and it's like, "Oh, no way!" You know, it was just like a big "oh my god" moment. And then I was like, "Hang on, shit, yeah, I kind of knew he was coming back." So yeah, but yeah, it felt for me a pretty big thing at the time.
And what about you, John?
I mean, this is exceptional. It's a brilliant two-part. Things that always go up a few gears when you've got Daleks. They go up more gears when you've got Davros in there. But on top of that, you're throwing in Missy, which it's like, how evil do you want this story to be? You've got some wonderful little concepts in there, like the hand mines. The hand mines are genuinely creepy, like these kind of hands with eyes that are looking around. It's genuinely creepy. Love the bit with the guitar. I love the fact that he doesn't realize initially that they've gone back to Skaro. He thinks we're on a space station, and he realizes they're in Skaro. You've got the whole thing with the VMs where, you know, Missy and Clara, he's convinced that they're dead, but actually they've VM'd out of there. And then you've got that brilliant scene. I mean, obviously, every scene with the Doctor and Davros is just gold to us because Peter Capaldi and Julian Bleach are fantastic actors. But you've got that brilliant scene at the end of episode 2 where Missy's trying to convince him to kill the Dalek with Clara inside it. And she's like, "This is a Dalek that's clear Clara." And the Clara's inside, but all that Clara can say gets translated into Dalek. And it's genuinely really tense. It builds up a great deal of tension. Yeah, I'm just a really, really big fan of this story. I'm a big fan of this season anyway, but I'm a really, really big fan of this story. I've watched it twice in the last week, and it's just superb.
I kind of love the jealousy between sort of like Missy about Davros because the Doctor says that, Davros is my arch enemy. And she's like, Davros is your arch enemy now. I'll scratch his eye out. And then towards the end of the second part, literally just jousts him in the eye.
Right. Yeah.
You've got two jealousies there, haven't you? Because you've got Davros who's like her biggest enemy, and then you've got Clara who's who's his best friend, and she's a bit jealous of both of them.
Yeah.
Right. Let's get into this. So when I first watched this, I thought this was abhorrent. I thought it was like one of the worst things we've seen. What can I say now? I mean, it looks nice. The actors are trying with what they got. It's one of the worst Dalek stories ever made. And that is, I seriously hate this. I hate almost every second of it. Capaldi's midlife crisis is shocking. Missy's good in it, but when is Missy not good? Clara's fine. Davros scenes are absolute shite. That might just come. It's well acted, but the dialogue's is bad. For me, it just doesn't work. Connie Sarf's cool, I guess. It's kind of nice to get a nice little Doctor Who road trip at the start with all the characters. You can see the Shadow Proclamation around the bar. For me, this is the possibly Steve Moffat's worst Doctor Who script, possibly. And I'm a big fan, but no, this one for me,
Did you watch the same episode that the other three of us did?
The Davros kid stuff is really poor. It's not tensious at all, in my opinion. The Doctor's never going to kill a child at any point. Doesn't matter who it is. It's never. I don't believe it.
Don't you get it?
I don't believe it.
But it's not just about, is the Doctor going to kill this child? It's about, how is he going to get out of this situation? Yeah, we all know the Doctor's not going to kill a child, but he's got to find a way out of it.
He's going to save him, isn't he?
It comes down to the same morals of.
It's not a kind of, does he save him or does he not? Have you ever seen an episode of Columbo?
No.
In Columbo, they show you who the fucking murderer is in the first 5 minutes. It's not about who's the killer. It's about the process of how something happens.
Yeah, I just doesn't work.
How you resolve the situation, how you resolve that puzzle you've got yourself into.
Doesn't work.
It's the whole scenario of, if you went back in time and saw baby Hitler, would you kill him? You know what I mean?
No.
It's that same scenario.
I just don't believe the Doctor would ever do it.
We know that.
But this is the whole thing. It's a callback to that scene.
It's
a callback to that scene in Genesis, and it's not a callback to the "Have I the Right" scene. It's a callback to the conversation between the Doctor and Davros, where he says, "If somebody pointed out a child to you," and it's like,
no, it doesn't work for me. Capaldi's trying. The costume looks fine, I guess. He looked better in Series 8, in my humble opinion, and looks better in Series 10. I don't know what it is. Clara's fine. I'll get into the abhorrent storyline where she's inside the Dalek later on. That really fucks me off. Missy's great. I love Michelle Gomez. She's always a bundle of fun and everything she does. Unit are there. They're chilling.
I'm at
cool.
a point now where I'm kind of wondering if you're deliberately trolling.
No, no. I wish I was this time.
I honestly would like to know. You say it's the worst Dalek story of all time. What makes it a bad Dalek story? What genuinely for you makes
Stephen
it bad?
Moffat rewrites the entire biology of the Daleks.
What do you mean?
Sense. Well, this is how I read into it. People have told me that's not the case, but it's how I read into it. So Clara puts this thing on, and the Dalek speaks out random other stuff. And in my head, I go, maybe the Dalek mutants aren't that bad. Maybe they're stuck inside these machines. Maybe some of them are compassionate and can't show it. And some people don't see it that way. That's fine. But then why is the failsafe there in the first place? It doesn't make any sense.
Davros made the Daleks to be, the supreme being, with the intention in mind, any other being must be exterminated and hate those who are not like it.
Yeah, but
does that not make sense?
No, because this episode rewrites that. Because why is the failsafe there? Because then it's got like neuro linkage, which means that it doesn't really matter what's inside the Dalek. It fucks me off.
Well, of course, the Khalids are trying to survive.
Allow me to introduce you to this little concept called evolution, which means that when something is actually created, it will develop, and the things that develop that make it better, that make it more likely to survive, will stay. And particularly with a mechanical or part mechanical race like the Daleks, you're only ever going to have improvements. So yeah, they might not have had a neural linkage way back in Genesis, but it's something that developed since. Bear in mind, this is a point where Davros has seen them, he has met the Doctor X number of times, has seen them lose X number of battles. He's taking all that information and developing them and improving them all the way through. So to say, to say, oh, they didn't do this X number of years ago.
That's not what I'm saying.
They're stopping them doing that.
That's not what I'm saying.
There's nothing in this that stops them fundamentally being Daleks.
I'm sorry, I might have worded it wrong. I'm not saying I have an issue with the Daleks having a new upgrade. My issue is that either A, it doesn't make sense for that to be there in the first place, because essentially what it does is it lets the casing take over, and whatever is said, the casing can just override it. Or B, and in my head I go, maybe the mutants inside, perhaps some of them aren't actually that bad and are just stuck in there. And then that makes me feel bad for the Daleks. It doesn't work for me. I think it's pointless. I think that entire scene with the Doctor, if he's going to shoot the Dalek on up the car inside of it, is just laughable. The
creepiest thing about the Cybermen is the fact that they were once human, the fact there was a living being in there. I think that the fact that actually the mutant inside a Dalek might be trying to rail against it, I think that actually makes them scarier. I think it does that a little bit more evil, because there's something in there that's acting against its own will.
That's not scary. That's traumatizing. It doesn't. It just makes
it's. I hate to bring this up, but it's even like the whole kind of Hitler Nazi mentality, where
there goes the monetization.
Well, just think about it. You have your Davros character.
Given the number of times I say cunt on it, you ain't never getting monetized, mate.
Davros character, and then you have the Daleks, which are programmed or brainwashed to think and say certain things, which this happens to be hatred of, if you're not like us, exterminate, exterminate, exterminate. Like that's scary as heck.
I don't disagree with that, but in my understanding of the Daleks before this is that the actual alien inside is also just as evil as the casing outside, and the casing is just a machine that allows them to
that could have been the case, but as John said,
I don't like the fact that Daleks can now be good.
The whole thing with the alien inside, and most of the interpretations that we've had in terms of the alien inside is that they're a pretty base being. They're not this kind of massively highly intelligent being. They're generally can't remember which story it was. They get described as like a bubbling ball of hate. So it's just negative emotion that's in there. It's not necessarily about intelligence and control. So there's always been something there that strategizes. That's why Daleks have a hierarchy. That's why you have strategic Daleks. That's why you have supreme Daleks, because most of your foot soldiers don't actually have the kind of nous to be making those decisions.
I feel like we're going to go in circles. It just doesn't work for me. The more basic the Daleks are, the better. I like the Dalek hierarchy thing. I'm not a massive fan of either.
It just probably comes down to personal taste, then.
Of course it does. Of course it does. I'm not.
But what I'm trying to get across is that if the issue is with the fact that Daleks aren't these kind of base beings, and if your issue is with the fact that it's not a Dalek hierarchy and stuff, then your issue is not just with this story.
It's not. It's not.
Alex, what are your thoughts on the Cybermen? I'd like to know. What do you think of the Cybermen as a whole?
Cool concept, rarely utilized well.
But they're the same thing. They're the same thing in the sense. Just different cases.
But because they're reprogrammed to think that way, which is different than just them being locked inside of the Dalek doing it. Because at that point, you don't need to, in my head, you don't need to,
at that point they are reprogrammed.
In my head, you don't need anything inside. No, because they're not thinking what's happening. Everything, they're just trapped inside. But at least the Cybermen is that they wholeheartedly believe what they're doing is right. The Daleks, if a Dalek is fundamentally good inside of the casing, and that it's doing other things outside, why would they need a pilot? It doesn't make any sense.
Well, we never said that they were good, as John said. They're
but there's the
pile of hate.
Of course.
So if they're already that way, they are programmed to only say certain things.
This is the thing. I think that by attributing morality to the base creature inside a Dalek, you're deliberate. You're by inference attributing a degree of intelligence, a degree of development. Whereas I think what we've seen of the creatures that go inside Daleks generally is that they're feral. That they aren't this kind of intelligent thinking being. They're basically this little feral ball of negative emotion.
Right.
I like this conversation. I've got to say, I like this discussion. I like this conversation because you've got like 60 years of material to interpret, and it's really interesting how people can interpret it differently. But for me, I think if you're going to sit there and say that the being inside a Dalek is good or bad, then I think you're attributing a degree of development to that creature that it probably doesn't have.
It opens up a corner to the being that I don't particularly like, and that, like I said, none of us, no one's right or wrong on this one. For me, it just doesn't work. For me, in my head, I go, Dalek is, it's basic, but Dalek is evil. Dalek wants to kill. I don't like the fact you're opening the door for the Daleks to potentially.
They still do.
And the intent of the creature inside doesn't stop the Dalek being evil. Doesn't stop the Dalek wanting to kill.
But then, in my head, I then think
in exactly the same way as, an SS officer with a trained Alsatian. That dog's not evil. No, but it's still just as dangerous because it's been trained to be that way.
Of course. But then in my head, I go, okay, so if we're allowing the Daleks to evolve in terms of the mutant inside, and potentially they could feel that way, but the case could do it anyway. And you see that as that's kind of an interesting way to take it. I then go, well, no, because every time we see a Dalek, is it exactly everything that we see? And I don't think that should be a question. I think the thing with the Daleks is it should be black or black and white. There should be no grey with the Daleks.
Not necessarily, Alex.
Personally.
Think about it. They were originally put in that casing to survive. And, as John said with evolution, it could be that Dalek Supreme was like, all right, we're going to program it so that everyone thinks this way. You're not out of line. And this
just
is
pops down to PC world, gets a new part, slaps on the Dalek.
Don't forget, there's been at least one, and probably more than one, if you're looking at extended media, etc. There's been at least one example of a Dalek civil war where they developed into two different ideals and two different directions and taking each other out. It's as always, mate, it's the people at the top that are making the decisions and developing things, who are actually changing things and making the real kind of philosophies. And it's the foot soldiers, i.e. your little blobs inside your Daleks, that are firing the shots and bearing the brunt of it.
With like from the episode Dalek onwards in the new series, is that it shows how the Daleks in the machines are that they sort of they gather intelligence everywhere they go, so they become more cleverer, even if it's just the mutant itself, or they use the machine to program all this information. Where was I going with this? Lost my train of thought. But yeah, I think also in a way is that where John said about the Dalek mutants being feral is that the machine kind of keeps the Dalek in some sort of control in a way. Can't remember the word to term it. But also that the Dalek is also in control with the machine. So, you know, there's like an equal balance of control.
Yeah, they're kind of symbiotic.
Yes.
And I think what we've also got to consider, particularly in terms of this story, is that when that scene is happening with Clara, that's after the Doctor's basically hybridified all of the Daleks. So you've also got the Doctor's influence going into everything.
I don't know. I mean, it comes to a place of hating the hybrid arc anyway. But it just doesn't work for me personally.
I think it's.
So, Alex, are you saying you are a
very
Dalek
complex? I think what we're trying to get across is it's a very complex. When you're looking at Dalek philosophy and stuff, particularly at this point in the show, it's a very complex discussion, and I like the fact that we can have that on a Thursday night after a couple of beers after a West Ham game.
Yeah, that's the sort of thing that we chat about. It's not, you know, that's exactly it. But yeah, let's get into more of the story. Because I might have been a bit hyperbole earlier on, but I don't like a lot of this. It's not absolutely abhorrent. Certain things I do like. The way the characters are written in this, I think, are pretty good in terms of characters on the board. I think the Doctor's written quite well. I think Clara's written quite well. I think Missy is written unbelievably well. But I just have Michelle Gomez is potentially my favourite master of the bunch, just because every episode that she is in, she is spectacular. And Davros is the only character that I think isn't written particularly great, but I'll get into why a bit later on. But the Doctor, I think, is really good here. I think Capaldi's always great. I've always said this, even though I might not like his stories. Him as an actor, I can never fault and never will fault. He's tremendous here in all of the scenes where he needs to be dark. I love the opening, the pre-title sequence where he has that triumphant, tell me the name of the kid that's not going to die today, sort of thing. He's so brilliant, and we'll skip the guitar things. I think him playing the guitar is one of the worst scenes. I think it's
why.
I don't know. I just don't like it. It just it's
Doctor can't play a musical instrument.
I'm not saying that they
done
can.
before.
I know. I know.
I mean, the Doctor, for all he's aware, is that, you know, he's about to die, being, you know, sprung into this trap that he knows he's going to be put in. You know, so, you know, why not, you know, throw a party and, you know,
no, I don't disagree.
And have this, you know, play a guitar in, you know, the.
It's not like he's ever played the recorder or played the spoons or played the yo-yo or played cricket before.
I'm not saying it's one of those things that I can't explain why, but it just bothers me. Seeing him coming on a tank playing a guitar in medieval time, it just bothers me. I don't know why.
I love it. It's Capaldi. It's Capaldi bringing some of his own personality into the.
Is it him?
He can actually play guitar.
Is it him playing though?
Yeah,
of course it is. He put out a whole album recently.
Yeah,
did he?
Him.
He's
St. Christopher.
He's an accomplished musician.
And, you
know, he's played kind of rock stars in roles in the past as well. Yeah, he's an accomplished musician.
Even the whole Beethoven's Fifth thing and the theme tune, that's him as well.
He did that rock theme tune.
Yeah,
I didn't like it. Like,
so there's not a lot you do like Kingdom.
We'll get into that. The best thing in this entire story is Missy and Clara's back and forth. That is just tremendous from start to finish. It mostly comes from Missy just essentially toying with her the whole time.
The best bit.
I think you're doing Jenna
the pointy stick.
I think you're doing Jenna a little bit of a disservice there, because I think it takes two people to have chemistry.
No, Jenna is fantastic in this as well. I'm not going to deny that. She's very good, especially in the more emotional scenes later on inside the Dalek. You know, like I said, the performances here are all very well done. It's just the writing I might have a particular problem with. But she's fantastic. I think her chemistry with Gomez is rather good. You know, especially in the second part, but it's kind of like they can't really trust each other, but they sort of like each other at the same time. It's a weird, like you can tell that even Missy sort of likes and respects Clara, despite putting her in harm's way 4 or 5 times. And you sort of like every time you see that she begins to respect Clara that little bit more, but still does it, and it's sort of those funnier things.
I think my favourite bit of sort of interaction between the two of them is when Missy decides to test the depth of the sewer by pushing Clara down it.
Yeah. My favorite line will still be, you see that couple over there, you're the dog. It's still just I think that's just perfect, the master line. I think they're really good in it. I think it's a shame we don't get much of Capaldi and Gomez together in this one, because I just like them together, and they weren't that well written in the series 8 finale, in my humble opinion. Missy as a character is much better when she's not a villain.
I think in this is one of the very few stories where I actually don't mind Clara. And I think it's because she doesn't really have much control in this as she does in other episodes.
Agreed.
And she doesn't have an overinflated ego. Apart from the beginning with the whole thing with like Jane Austen, that she's an amazing kisser and whatnot. And it's like, why?
But
but she's a teacher. She's a teacher in a classroom with a bunch of school kids. She's supposed to have an ego in that situation.
Yeah, exactly. I'm a big fan of Clara because she's my first companion, so I'm not gonna shit on Clara.
I'm a big fan of Clara because I would.
There we go.
I didn't say what, you know.
Just the way you said it, mate.
I'd say something, but you'd have to cut it out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying. I'm just saying something nice.
Yeah, no, exactly. Nothing wrong with it.
Nice.
Yeah, I think in to quote John from a few minutes ago, I think you're doing Clara a disservice as a whole there. I think she's a certain character that, yes, can have an ego on her, and sometimes that can be to the detriment of the character. But like you say, I think in this story it's very well done. I think in most stories it's quite well done. But yeah, no, here she's really good. Like you say, she does have a few lines where it's a bit like, but like it's just a bit, why would you say that? But I think that's with Moffat's writing in general. You could get away with a few bits here.
I mean, he's literally just sort of like channeling his own ego into Clara.
Yeah, I mean, I love Moffat, but there are certain lines here that why would characters say that? Like Missy tickling the Dalek bump sort of thing.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. I just love that. Clara's like, how deep or how far do you think this goes down? And then just Missy just pushes her.
No,
like, that's hilarious.
That's great. That is great. I also hate the line, tell him the bitch is back. I just think
I love that.
I love that.
I don't know. I don't like swearing. I don't like swearing in Doctor Who. I don't know what
okay, Grandpa.
But do you get the musical reference?
Mary Whitehouse.
Do you get the musical reference?
Yeah, from Elton John, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay.
There you go. But yeah, I mean, I got most of the musical because doesn't Capaldi play Pretty Woman? Is it Pretty Woman in the first part? I saw it a few hours ago. I almost fell off the bed again. I need to move my players. I'm almost falling off the bed twice here. Let's get into one of the big parts here. I think setting on Skaro was a great decision. I think it's a really good reveal. Like John said in his opening bit, I think that's a really cool part of the story. I think it's really well done as well, because obviously it looks a bit like I think kind of like a very dense set on purpose when you first get there. Oh, it's a space station episode here. Then they go out on space, and then you start seeing the dust on Missy's nose kind of out of nowhere. It's a nice little detail, and then Missy starts to clog. Oh shit!
It was one of the best like reveals we've had in a while, because like I was not expecting that. Like that genuinely was like, oh my god.
Just the fear and anger in Capaldi's reaction when he realizes he's on Skaro.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It is good. And this is prime Capaldi attack eyebrows. Series 9 Capaldi attack eyebrows, or peak Capaldi attack eyebrows. I think they're a bit longer here, and it's always good. But yeah, I think it's really cool. And this is not a complaint against the story, but I wish they didn't show any shots of Skaro in the trailer, because it would just been so much cooler to just not know.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like in the pre-credit, it's a bit of a spoiler, isn't it? Because it's like if that's Child Davros, there's only one place that's going to be, and they're not only going to use it in a pre-credit spoiler in a
Right.
Yeah, I think overall it's one of those things where you could tell the writer, in this case Moffat, is seeing this and going, "This is a really good reveal, cool." And then the marketing team go, "Right, we're going to pop it in a trailer, slightly, and they just review it, and then they go, as watching it, I just feel bad for the writer that's put that reveal in. They go, "Oh, it's like when you watch a film trailer, and they show off one of the big reveals early on. You're like, oh,
yeah, you've already got the Daleks and Davros. You don't need to throw Scarro into the trailer to get people to watch it."
Exactly.
Kind of off topic, but BBC America, I think this was probably the best years, at least here in the States, when they marketed, at least for Capaldi. They had a really good Series 9 trailer. I'll see if I can find it and post it later. It was so good. It was different than what everyone else got.
Well, the best trailer we've ever had over here, in my view, is the Series 5 trailer that we had over here with Matt and Karen just looking up at the stars. And
that's cool. I'm a big fan of the Donna campfire stuff, even though I wasn't watching back in the day. I just watched those kind of high dense.
God's here.
The 50th trailer with all of the doctors was
yeah,
cool.
Yeah. The day of the only bit I don't like, so the doctor, Matt says the day of the doctor. I just think it's really cheesy. The rest of it's brilliant, but the screw now falls down. He puts
anniversary special. It's
I know. But again, it's things when they're writing it, they think it's really badass, and you watch it, and you just gotta go, "Oh, all right, cool." But hey, it's a great trailer. But no, I think this is peak marketing spoilers type thing, Series 9, Series 10, because a lot of the moments here were spoiled. I think even the Davros betrayal could have been spoiled in the next one trailer. I don't know. I skipped it on iPlayer, so I could be wrong. But at the end of the day, really cool stuff. The comedy's all right. I think the only thing for Dodgems thing is probably one of the best lines in Who history. And I will say that because it just makes me laugh every time.
And he just gets a cup of tea out of nowhere. I mean, how, typically British.
That is Moffat's ego that I like, because he written the episode, "How did I get this cup of tea? Doesn't matter, deal with it." It's that's Moffat saying every time there's a pothole, go fuck yourself. And I think that's brilliant, because that's just him going, yeah, so what, these things happen, deal with it, does it matter? No. Because I think this is peak online moaning about the amount of plot holes Moffat has, but then they complain if there was a 3-minute scene showing the doctor making a cup of tea. So hey ho. But no, I like that. I think the variation of Daleks is really cool here, because we did get that in Asylum. It's cool to see a bunch of different Daleks roaming around.
And they were actually
the special weapons Daleks back in this as well.
Yes.
And it moves.
And for once, you see the lights around the top all flashing, which has never been seen before.
And this time it moved.
I'd rather have plot holes than Chibnall's bloody.
Well, I mean, it moves in remembrance of the Daleks.
Yeah, but I meant in terms of Asylum, because they brought it back, didn't they?
And we even had a Cushing movie Dalek as well. If I remember correctly, there was a Cushing movie Dalek in there, but it was very. I remember back time someone pointed out, "Oh, by the way, I provided this Cushing movie Dalek for it." But I'll just see if I can find that info.
But yeah. So I think the sets are really cool. I think the placement's really cool. I like the fact the Doctor. I like how the unit scene in this is really cool, because I think it was good uses of expanding the universe and using the universe without it needing to just have a reason. I hate when a common criticism of any universe is, why did we go here if it doesn't really serve an overarching purpose? But then going to unit and going to those other places, I think it's just really cool. I don't mind a bit of destination hopping in the universe, especially in Doctor Who. It's nice.
And it works nicely in with the plot here, because they're trying to track down the Doctor. And it's, it gives you that leverage into Missy turning up with the dial,
with the 3D vision, which a lot of people didn't like at the time. I think it's funny, just seeing her head pop through on it.
Was fun.
But yeah, obviously Colony Sarf was always a big part of the first episode, not really in the second one too much. Really cool idea of a character, really cool.
It's clearly on one of those two-wheel hoverboard things that were a big trend at the time.
I didn't realise that he slithered so when I watched it again today, and so I'm slithering around in the first 10 minutes, I was like, that's a cool.
Glides through the room like a snake.
Yeah. I also like the fact as well, another line that I didn't pick up on the first time watching it was that, like, it seems that colony staff is like a council of, I suppose, snakes, because he's like, we are voting. And it's like, that's a really cool idea. I think the CGI for the most part is decent. When there's a lot of snakes on Capaldi and the Davros chair, it looks a bit meh, but apart from that, it looks pretty good all the time. It's a really cool design, a nice little creepy. The acting is well performed. You know, I think it's just a really cool idea, personally. It's all right. So I'd say for me as well, I think the big part is episode 1 I actually really liked. I've realised that most of my issues with this are in episode 2. Episode 1 I actually really got on with. I think it's a really cool opener. I think it gets our characters to where they need to be in good time. It doesn't waste time. It doesn't feel overly long. It gets done with quite quickly. It's pretty
When
good.
I watched episode 2, I was in Mallorca on holiday. And I went through some website on well, I don't know what the website was, and
WatchDoctorWho.com
and watched the episode live that way, because obviously you can't get BBC iPlayer in New York. So I found some.
I mean, Luckhurst is not confessing to any illegal activity at this point.
Obviously,
should I just cut to commercial?
I don't condone using illegal websites, but one has to watch.
I mean, if you're not able to watch Doctor Who, you've got to find a way somewhere, haven't you?
But I don't know the ruling on that. If you can't watch it in the country, are you not allowed? I think I'm like, this might be absolute bullshit. I think I was told once, if there's no way to actually actively watch it in the country, you are allowed to.
What I didn't know until sort of like the last day of the holiday is that apparently in our hotel that we were staying in, you could retune the TVs to whichever country destination, because our TV had all German channels on, because lots of people from Germany holiday in Mallorca. So had I known that, I would have retuned it to British channels and just watched Doctor Who that way. Oh well.
Yep. Yeah, no, where was I watching this? I was probably at home. I don't remember watching this one. The only one I remember watching from the series was Sleep No More, because I was saying to my friend, series 9 is actually not too bad, which is a really good Saigon episode. Come over and watch it. It's going to be really good. Don't you worry. Doctor Who is back. It's better than ever. Capaldi's finally getting good. And then, of course, if they come over with Sleep No More, I can tell you he's never watched the show since, because Sleep No More is the dog shit.
I like Sleep No More.
You think you had a bad time? That was Elijah's birthday.
Yeah, unfortunately, I had that crap Jodie one too on my birthday.
Which one? The Battle of Ranskoor?
No, it was the
Saranga Conundrum.
No, what's the one that has the weird title? Oh wait, all of them.
Oh, the Battle of Ranskoor Kolos.
No, the one last year.
Once Upon Time.
Once Upon Time.
Oh, I like that one. It's better than Sleep No More.
I mean, I saw Sleep No More having spent a day at the XL at the Doctor Who festival.
It's weird to think that this came out, I was 14 years old. Oh god, a third of my life has passed since this episode's come out. Oh my god,
I've taken lots of pictures with various Doctor Who props and stuff, and
yeah, that's the event. I really hope they do something like that again at some point, because now we all know each other as well. That would be a banging event to go to, wouldn't it? Just get
spend the whole day ducking into toilets, avoiding Alex.
Oh come on. oh god. Anyway, let's get into the meat and potatoes of The Witch's Familiar then. The Doctor and Davros stuff, which I think in terms of performance is really good, and in terms of writing is really good, until it turns out it's a swerve from Davros, which is really cool. I like the swerve from Davros, but then it turns out, no, the Doctor knew what he was doing all along, and I go, so that was kind of fucking pointless though, wasn't it, from both sides, because of this emotional heart-to-heart, that they both are there tricking each other, so therefore means nothing. And it's all a bunch of rubbish. Whereas at least if one of the characters kind of cared what they were saying, it would have made it worth something, but it's actually just a waste of time.
Nah.
I don't, because it makes you question, maybe that's the reason, but it makes me question, well, did they mean it? Did they not? Do we know? It's like I would have really. I just would have liked in that one. I would like a concrete answer to go. Do you know what? Actually, there was a genuine heart-to-heart between these two enemies. A moment where they go, "Yeah, do you know what? Actually," but no, it's all undone.
No, I like that ambiguity. I like the ambiguity there. I think basically don't forget that actually it makes the Doctor kind of go back and show mercy to child Davros.
Mercy, mercy. Sorry. But yeah. The only thing I actively think is terrible in this is there's one shot of Collie South's eyes on the wires before that entire conversation kicks off, which obviously gives the reveal that the snakes are there. Which I think if that shot isn't there, the reveal of the betrayal is so much better. But because you know that Collie South is showing with the wires, you think, it's one of those shots I just think isn't needed. I just think the reveal would have been better if that shot of his eyes opening wasn't there. Personally, it's a small thing, but I think it makes a big difference into that. Because I think the actual surprise of it,
slightly a bit more of a shocker. I think. Yeah, I see where you're coming from. That. Yeah.
I just think that the dialogue is so good. The dialogue is so good that actually it would have been a. I remember first time watching, I was like, well, we know there's a twist here coming anyway, and you could probably think that with Davros anyway because it's Davros, but it's actually the writing does lead you into a full sense of security between the two characters, and you think, oh, maybe this is actually happening. And then you see in that shot of Connie South's eyes, it's sort of like, oh, we know it's not going to go well. It's sort of, like, right. I just think it's a small thing, but it makes a big difference, I think, in terms of the context of the conversation. Do you know what, Johnny, if you hear my mind, I don't mind the ambiguity on it now. Actually, the way you said that, I think it works. I think the issue for me is the Doctor kind of, I think it's just a bit sort of coincidental. The Doctor knows about like how to get the sewer Daleks up. I think it all happens a bit too quickly at the end. I think they kind of ran out of time and it's like, oh no, I used sewer Daleks. They're going up here. Now I'm going to go over here and I've got glasses now and I'm all good and just chilling.
Just remember, Alex, the Doctor isn't like us. Said how many years of experience and I'm not just.
Also, can I just point out that obviously the Doctor had something well planned because he said obviously that he knew that what Davros had planned. So when he was back on Khan, hiding from Colony South and everything, and then throwing himself a party, all this time that he's literally been stringing them along, trying to work out how to deal with this situation. He's literally there and then just dealt with it, knowing what to do.
But then, see, I don't like that because it undoes the "you brought me to Skaro" reveal in the first part because it ruined.
But he could be playing along with that.
Yeah, but I don't like that. I think that reveal is stronger with the Doctor genuinely being scared because the one thing Capaldi does
that's one area where like maybe didn't know, last time we saw Davros, they weren't on Skaro.
He knew the plan. He knew the plan to use sewer Daleks, but he didn't know they'd be on Skaro. So if they were on like Clom, he'd be fucked. If they were on Clom, my plan is to use sewer Daleks, and they were on Clom. Oh well, there's no sewer Daleks. Guess I'm gonna die. But like, no. The one thing Capaldi does really well.
There could be sewer Daleks on Clom. Clom was one of the planets that was taken away for the for the whole stolen Earth Journey's Ending, wasn't it? So
detonate the reality bomb.
They could have put sewer Daleks on Clom. You never know.
Detonate the reality bomb. Very cool scene. But yeah, no, I think it's really cool. I think Capaldi is scared very well. And just all the like Davros, no, all this sort of stuff. I think it's really good. What do we make? Because I had some people have a different opinion on this. The Davros, let me see you with my own eyes. Yay or nay?
It's okay. It's luring the Doctor into that false sense of security. I think at that point Davros was so desperate to try and put him into that trap that he would have done anything, including open his eyes.
Yeah. It's I like it because I think people are going, but his eyes shouldn't work. People people have glasses, like that's why can't that blue light at the top just be essentially like a vision enhancer or something? He could still have his eyes. I think it works fine. I think the crying, I think Julian Bleach, Davros crying is somehow ugly and beautiful at the same time.
I mean, what I do wonder is Davros, actually blinding those two eyes and then just pretending that he can see just to try and trick the Doctor?
No, I think the eye line and I think the way I think it works. I think I'm gonna again. This is something you can put down to your own interpretation, sort of like the Dalek thing. In my head, I go, no, he can see the Doctor with those eyes. I just think it's really cool. I think it's just a really cool scene. I think Julie Bleach does a fantastic job, to the point where when he does get replaced and we do get another actor play Davros, they've got a big game to play. You know, that's a big shoe to fill.
Wow.
Chair to fill.
What about the voice of the Daleks? What about the voice of the Daleks getting replaced?
Wouldn't bother me. Wouldn't I get used to it? I get used to it.
As long as they don't use Maureen O'Brien, we'll be all right.
So obviously this leads into the double turn of like, oh no, the Doctor knew what Davros was going to do, and the regeneration energy would wake up the dying Daleks in the sewer. It's a fine plan. It makes sense. It's cool. The only issue with that I have is the sunglasses TARDIS thing. That I think is possibly terrible. It's up there with Jodie having the Force in that one episode of Doctor Who that I can't remember.
You know,
but the thing with the TARDIS having the hostile action displacement system has been a thing since what, Troughton, I think.
Yeah. I think it's just it feels very Deus Ex Machina to me personally. I think it's just sort of like, oh shit, the TARDIS is gone. No, it's not. Oh, it's back. Oh, look, he can do this on his little sunglasses, and it just cut.
I don't mind a hybrid. Oh, go ahead, John.
I was just saying, wearable technology, love it.
I'm not a fan of the shades. I'm not a fan of the shades.
I
personally
didn't mind the hybrid, probably because it didn't. It wasn't as ridiculous as the stupid cyber Time Lords with their robes and everything. That was just ridiculous. This was
I like the
that
cyber
was
lords.
ridiculous.
I like the design of those, but I just think the concept is just lunacy.
Yeah,
I like the cyber lords. I think it's one of the cooler reveals in Doctor Who. But hey, that's just my opinion. It's certainly better than this.
I mean, the whole point of the Cybermen, as the Daleks are based on Nazis, the Cybermen are generally based on communism, or the Stalinist idea of communism anyway. So the idea that suddenly you're going to get a bunch of Cybermen that are half Time Lord walking around in robes, it just doesn't work.
Yeah, I don't know. It's cool to me. Anyway, and we get a really, this we're going to disagree again, a scene between the Doctor, Missy, and a supposed Dalek, which has Clara inside. But here's the twist, guys. Clara can't actually speak to the Doctor. Is the Doctor going to shoot Clara? Oh no, it's never going to happen.
I think they actually genuinely build up some decent tension in that scene. I love it.
I have an issue with any scene where it's like, will the Doctor kill? Because I in my head I go, the Doctor will never kill, which I think it's one of those things where the Doctor will never break those fundamentals, and until that character.
But again, it's a case of how do they get out of it.
And then I'll give it that. I'll give the scene that is a cool little thing, and it does kind of trick you from the pre-titles of the Witch's Filia, where obviously the Doctor goes exterminates a little kid. You think the Doctor's going to fucking kill a little kid.
But also, what's the difference between the Doctor killing someone and letting them die?
True.
Because obviously, like in Dinosaurs in a Spaceship, and the 11th Doctor, just let the ship go for Solomon's ship to get blown up. Showed him no mercy. I mean, despite him, killing so many.
The Doctor doesn't kill how many fucking spiders?
Exactly.
Yeah. Yep.
No. That was Stormzy. Stormzy. No, look, it's one of those weird.
It's turned into an old man.
It's one of those weird loopholes, isn't it? Which like the Doctor does kill by proxy, but
I mean it's happened throughout. Yeah,
I mean the Fifth Doctor was this close to killing Davros.
Tennant did, Davison did. Yeah, it's happened all over the place.
Yeah. But that you say, John, it does lead to a very good twist where we see the we see the pre-credits where the Doctor gets exterminate. I've saved a friend, and we think that means he's going to kill Davros so that he can save his supposed friends, but actually, no, he needs to save Davros so that he can save his friends.
Spoiler alert.
It's a really cool twist. I will give it that. I feel really bad for the kids in this one because the acting's not great, but they're going to repeat the same 4 lines over and over again. I thought you were going to save me. Are you not going to save me? Why are you not going to save me?
Cool
Please.
Was that? You are playing Davros.
No, the kids doing a great job. They just keep cutting back to the same scene. So by the time you see it for the 4th time, you're like, fuck.
You're just jealous.
No, I'm not. I mean, if Davros was already in a wheelchair, it'd be kind of, to be fair, if that was the case.
A 14-year-old Alex Kingdom getting to play child Davros would have been amazing.
I mean, that kid who did
hello there.
Well, hello there.
The kid who did play Davros, he's going to be listening to this, and then after the podcast, he'll be saying, "Oh, fuck you, Alex Kingdom."
No,
At least I got to play
now.
Davros.
Well, hello there. What the fuck is going on?
What the fuck is going on?
If they could say bitch, they could. That according to the BBFC, you're allowed to get away with 1 F-bomb in every piece of media, and it'd be a 12. So if I said it once, it still count. I don't know how it works. I don't know how that works with television, though. That might not be the case. But hey, no, I think it's really cool. I think it's a cool ending. I think overall it works. The one thing that kind of upsets me about this one is that Missy goes, "I've got an idea," and we never actually ever see what that idea is. And I think it's a big shame that, because obviously at the end of the story, she's surrounded by Daleks. She goes, "I've got an idea," and it cuts away. And we don't see her again until the Cyberman 2-parter in series 10.
I think I know exactly what she does, because obviously she's still wearing the vortex manipulator.
That was destroyed, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah,
it was destroyed.
I can't remember.
It was destroyed after they VM'd out of the explosion.
Yeah, that's why the Doctor leaves her to die.
Go back through the sewer because they've not got the VMs anymore.
So that, I mean, that's just one. It's not a complaint or like against the story. It's one of the things where it's like, I would like to have seen what Missy would have fought there, but obviously we get the Amazing Cyberman 2-parter in series 10, which won our 100th episode poll. So that is definitively the best episode of all time. We cannot argue that at this point because we've done an entire poll about it. But yeah, I think it's a cool twist. I just think Missy is one of those characters. And I will always appreciate Michelle Gomez's performance of. It's a master that even though she's in every series, I would love to have seen her more. Oh, like just every episode she's in, like in Capaldi's era, she elevates it. It's a shame that she's not in it more, because in my head I go, she's surely in this before the series 10 finale, but she's not, is she? She's not in it again until that Cyberman 2-part, right?
Why couldn't she just pop up and kill a shoulder and make sure she's safe?
I seriously don't think she is.
I'm trying to think.
Except for like Extremis, if you count.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Yeah, she's in Extremis.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, no, actually, good point. No, sorry, I forgot about Extremis. But yeah, I'd still wish she was in it more. I sort of wish she gets a bit more in series 10, but I wish she was in this series more, because I think actually her and Clara are quite cool together, and you only really see it in this one. It would be nice to have seen that a little bit more. But yeah, Missy kind of goes off. She has an idea of the Daleks that maybe we'll see on Big Finish at some point, or maybe we already have, who knows. And yeah, that kind of leaves our companions to go off and have a much better adventure in the next 2 weeks with some Under the Lake Before the Floods, which is a cracking 2-part.
Brilliant.
It is.
That.
I will agree with you on that one. That is
all right.
That is what? All right, fair enough. But no, I will say this. At the start, when I first said this is like the worst thing of it, it's not. I was doing a bit of hyperbole there. It's serviceable, but there are certain things that really frustrate me in this one. Like the things I don't like, I really don't like. The things I like, they're just good.
Alex, I hope when you get to meet Moffat, I would love for you to bring this up. Bring your up and just have a little back and forth.
That would be interesting, yeah, because I think, like I said as well, it comes down. I don't think it's actively a terrible thing. It just, to me, kind of contradicts what I think the Daleks are, which is sort of the interesting thing that John was saying. Is that it's not really a complaint. It's more just like, I don't see the Daleks this way. It's kind of interesting that.
Why was the Magician's Apprentice, which is familiar shit?
I wouldn't. Yeah, right. Scores on the doors time here. I kind of want to hang on. I'm going to quickly. You guys have a little chat. I'm going to quickly. I've done this every time since we've done a Doctor Who review. I should have done it this time as well. I'm going to get our Doctor Who ranking up and see if our scores are the same as they were.
That's not.
What? No.
All right. Do you want me to give? Do you want me to give mine first before I see it? I could do mine first now.
No.
Yeah.
Because I can tell you now that mine. I can tell you that
all of us in that position. Then yes.
I shall say I'll probably give this. I'll give it a 6. I think it's definitely mine's definitely going to be improved. I'll give it a 6. I think because I do enjoy it. It's not something like if someone said you want to watch it, I'd be like, if one of those where I go, fine, not sort of like, no, you can get fucked. It'd be one of those. I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. But I think like I said, for me anyway, the next 2 part is better. Saigon's is better. Heaven Sent's better. Even Face the Raven's better. Even Hellbent's better. Actually, there's a lot better in the series in this one. But it's better than the girl who died and woman who lived and two no more. So take your points.
I agree with that.
So 6. What about you, Elijah?
I'm gonna give it a 9. What was my original score?
Oh, well, I'll get everyone's score.
Oh,
and then
after. Okay.
Cool. Owen.
10.
It's gonna go 10. Wow.
Nice.
And Jono.
9 from me.
Okay. So John originally gave us on the 7. Then next is me. I gave it a 3, so it's doubled. Elijah gave it a 9, and Owen gave it a 9. So it's either gone up or stayed the same. Right, so we got two lovely replies. So let's get into it. This one is firstly from some guy called Garfo597.
This one is Reese Marshall.
He said, really enjoys the 2-part. A lot of fun. The Doctor and Davros scenes are captivating, and Missy and Clara Joe is a lot of fun. Odd choice, like the Doctor on a tank, Davros opening his eyes, etc. But I can look past that to have a lot of fun with this epic opener. So someone agrees with me on the tank thing. Thank you, Reese. And also our good friends, Mr. Adamamoon, said, I enjoy the Doctor and Davros dynamic and the story. 2 ancient beings with a history reflecting on their past, compelling to watch. Capaldi and Bleach perform it brilliantly. Well, the first part I find to be all over the place. Second is solid viewing. So he disagrees with me. He also gives it a 6 out of 10 though. So he enjoyed the second part more and didn't enjoy the first part, which is the opposite to me. But there you go. You guys can also get involved in this as well on the socials. I think John's normally better at tweeting out before me because I forget. So John will tweet and my phone will go, you've been mentioned in a tweet by John Boycott. And I go, oh shit, yeah. But now, guys, it's the fun part where we have Elijah, this is more just for you because you obviously you might not be here depending on what pops up.
Alex, I make a suggestion.
What?
Whatever comes up, stick with it. Because last time we had Horror of Fang Rock, and you went, "Oh no, we just done a Tom Baker."
Right,
and
it has to be.
I'll say you span again, and we ended up with the fucking twin dilemma.
Yeah, it has to be new series. Is all I'm going to say. It has to be new series.
Well, yeah, of course it has to be new series, but
because we alternate it, so it goes. Classic, new Who, classic, new Who.
Yeah, if it comes up, whatever new series story it comes up with, stick with it because I think that last time showed you what happens if you don't obey the dial.
Spin the wheel, make a deal.
Oh, for
I
Christ's
just love how we
sake.
get confetti every time.
Please. There we go. Midnight.
Hey,
Midnight.
I will be there.
Excellent.
Right.
At midnight.
Somebody should do a stage play of that.
I know, right? Perhaps
Perhaps
alter the name. Yeah.
No, I just do a stage play of it. That would be
Anyway,
Elijah.
Yeah, call it midday.
Anyway, so guys, just so you know, so we did 2 spins. I only saw 1, but it's gonna
out the other spin.
I have, yes, because I'm gonna do a nice little Christmas reveal.
Really
I'll do a nice little reveal. So we
chaotic madness.
No, I don't worry. I'll speed it up and just put some funny music behind it. It's not leaving.
Launch a Patreon and then you can release.
Launch a Patreon, just so I can release the spin.
You can release that 5-minute clip to subscribers along with my wonderful twin dilemma impression.
There you go, guys. The Patreon we launched at $50 a month. John will call you a cunt at that tier. That's it. If you pay $50 and John will call you a cunt. No, anyway. So we now know that in October it will be midnight and Elijah will be back. And in December we also got a spin, which we'll reveal to you in October, which which Elijah will be back for again. So Elijah is sticking around for the new series reviews at least. Anyway, next month we are back with unfortunately the Twin Dilemma. So I've not seen it before. Obviously, like John said, there was that classic story of me getting the horror fang rock and going, no, we can't do Tom twice, and that being a mistake because we got the Twin Dilemma. But yes, next week we will be back.
Never ever tempt fate, kids.
Next week we'll be back with something. It might be Bond, I don't know, because nothing's come out yet. So like, there's no point. I know we do them once a month, but sometimes if there's nothing coming out. Sometimes if nothing's come out, then sometimes you just got to review it, innit? Potentially there might be something that pops up. First of all, I want to thank our very special guest, Mr. Elijah Crayling.
I'm sure you don't let him share screen.
Thank you.
This is kind of weird because we've got the person that made the old artwork versus the man that made the current artwork on the bottom parts of the screen. So there you go.
What about your friend in Liverpool? When are they?
Shut up. We're not changing the artwork of the channel. But yes, no, it's very nice to have very talented friends. You can follow Elijah Crayling on the socials. It's eCrayling1, right? Is that is
on Twitter, eCrayling on Instagram, and eCrayling on the TikTok.
Is it not eCrayling1 or is it just eCrayling? I thought it was eCrayling1.
It's eCrayling1 on Twitter because my original account eCrayling, I made it before I was old enough to have a Twitter, and then I went to change my birthday,
they botted you off.
Yeah. So
there you go. There we go. You can follow Owen at Dr. Disco 63, and you can also go to the Doctor Who shop, the Who shop, not Doctor Who shop, the Who shop website. If you want to buy, what's your item of interest this month, Owen?
Do you know?
This is not very good marketing.
I think of anything at the moment.
What
don't
figures
don't.
I'm sure you've got plenty of copies of the latest DWM special all about celebrity guest stars in, haven't you?
Yes, we have.
There you go, buy that. You can also still are your t-shirts still for sale because you can get the Owen's Sea Devil design.
Yes, absolutely.
The only t-shirt design I've got of Owen's is the Captain Jack Harkness one, which is now forever stuck inside of my drawer.
A Sea Devil one, Alex.
Because I don't really wear t-shirts.
That's your collection.
I will do.
Owen, I will come to the Who shop and I will buy one in person.
When Elijah goes to the Who shop, I will join him because I'll be with him.
I'm loving the support.
Maybe.
Thank you.
Peace and love. It's the Captain Jack Harkness one, the one with a little drawing of a penis on the shoulder.
No, that was extra £5. I didn't have the money for that. I didn't have the money for the extra £5 for that one. And also you can follow John. By the way, I want to clarify there was no cock John Barrowman t-shirt available at the shop.
I thought there was.
No. You can follow John.
The only cock was wearing one.
Yeah. Anyway, you can follow John at JohnBoy_Cook on social media and at JohnBoyCook on Twitter and at JohnBoyCook on Instagram, right?
No, it's underscore on both.
Oh, it's underscore on both.
You're just killing it. Well, you're just killing it. Remembering
you should have these notes written down, Alex.
Thank you guys also very much for watching. Please do like, comment, and subscribe. Follow on all the audio platforms. I think I told John about Stitcher last week. You didn't know what it was, did you? You were just confused by things, which neither do I. But I think it's on there. My feed just kind of takes out to everything. So Podbean.
I'm still clueless. I mean, we did say that if anybody is listening on Stitcher, let us know what it is. Tweet us, know what it is, and nobody did say.
No, because
I think it might just be made up.
Who knows? But by the way, thank you guys very much for killing it. Speaking of which, Apple and Spotify numbers have been up recently, so that's always appreciated. So thank you guys for those who have jumped on the audio-based platforms.
What about numbers?
I don't have a Stitcher account, so I can't check it. Maybe I need to make one. It's probably 0. But yeah, we'll see you guys all soon in some capacity next week.
Don't have nightmares. Do sleep well. Good night. God bless. No.